Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Monday, the 20th of March. Good to have you aboard. We are a Blue Wire podcast, however you're listening. Always appreciate it if you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that stuff. Make sure you tell your friends, you tell your family, you tell your mother I say hello. You keep spreading the word about ZASLOW Show 2.0. I love you a long time. And, of course, everything ZASLOW Show 2.0 is always brought to us by our title sponsor, Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you've been in an accident, doesn't matter what kind, any accident, car accident, motorcycle, boat, bike, slip and fall, Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, you get an attorney on the phone immediately. Right after you call 911, you call Anidjar and Levine, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. Great show planned today. Always a lot happening on a Monday because we got to recap the weekend. So many things happen over the weekend. So many activities are done. So many sports take place. And we got to cover it all here on a Monday. So I'm super happy to have everybody aboard with us. We got Heat to talk about. They had a weird weekend. Weird or annoying, probably closer to annoying weekend. We got the Panthers to get to. The Panthers had a terrific weekend. You got the World Baseball Classic, which doesn't matter. Although you got 37,000 people every game down there in Little Havana at Lone Depot Park. So you got the World Baseball Classic going on. We got to catch up on the NBA. It's down to crunch time. Most teams have like 9-10 games remaining in the season, so we got to do a little bit of that as well. But the big story over the weekend, of course, is the tournament. We're through the first and second rounds. We have the Sweet 16. There was madness all throughout the weekend. There's a 15 in the round in the Sweet 16. That, of course, is Princeton. You got your Hurricanes. How about the Owls? They're hooting it up there in Boca Raton. So the tournament takes center stage. We got a lot to get to in that regard. But first thing, and most importantly, we got a new sponsor on ZASLOW Show 2.0. That's right. We got to give it up for Water Cleanup of Florida. That's right. My pals, the Greensteins, they are running things as far as making sure that your home, you don't want to have any mold if you got a leak. You got to make sure it's taken care of. This is the kind of stuff that if I didn't know better, if I didn't know who to call, if I got a problem here, it would be keeping me up at night. And now you're listening to ZASLOW Show 2.0, so you know if you've got a leak in your house, you don't know where it's coming from. It could be driving you crazy. Well, it's a good thing you're listening to me right now. You call or text Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. You're going to get immediate assistance. And this is something you need to take care of right away because you don't want mold. That's a disaster. But Water Cleanup of Florida is going to make sure it never gets to that place. Over 60 years of combined experience, their team is prepared to handle all types of leak detection issues 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. After the leak has been located and repaired, Water Cleanup of Florida, they're going to clean, dry, and fully restore the damaged areas. Water Cleanup of Florida, fully licensed, insured, certified to provide the one-stop shopping that busy homeowners and business owners, they require. There's no need to bring in other contractors. I love that part. I don't want to make a million phone calls. I want to know that when I call Water Cleanup of Florida at 954-900-8635, I tell them the problem, and they're going to take care of it every step of the way. They handle the entire project from start to finish. Miami, Broward, Palm Beach counties, call or text Water Cleanup of Florida 24/7, 365, 954-900-8635. You can also go to WCUFL.com. They're on social. Make sure you check out, they have more than 80 5-star reviews on Google. Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. Water Cleanup of Florida. We clean up your schmutz. You know what I'm talking about. So let's give it up here. Water Cleanup of Florida. They are on ZASLOW Show 2.0. They are our partners now, and I'm super excited to have them aboard. So make sure you don't let a leak get out of hand. You call Water Cleanup of Florida or text 954-900-8635. Super pumped about having them aboard the show. All right, just as pumped about the tournament is the FAU fan and the Miami Hurricane fan. So where do we start first? Let's start with the Hurricanes. I mean, the Hurricanes, I'm not going to sit here and try and pretend I'm some FAU fan now. I'm super happy with what they're doing because it's very exciting. You got another team to root for in the tournament. We had the voice of FAU, Ken Levicka, on the show on Friday. We'll get to him coming up. What a call that he had on Friday night with FAU. Late nights, securing the last-second victory. We'll get to that, all right? But FAU and Miami, both in the Sweet 16 for the first time ever. That's right. Well, FAU, they won their first ever tournament game this weekend, and they won 2 of them. And the Hurricanes, they're in the NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 for the second year in a row for the first time in school history. That's right. So we'll start with the Canes first here. And here's what we're talking. Well, first, so Friday night, Canes and Drake. And I would say shockingly, but it was a struggle for most of the game. The Canes were down, 7 with about 5 minutes left? And I was so bummed, you know? Now, and I'm not going to try and sit here and tell you like I'm some major Hurricane fan, but I always want the Canes to do well. I'm a great Hurricane fan. I went to UF and I still love the Hurricanes. But I don't lose sleep over it, you know? The Canes, though, have had such a great season. I have close friends who are the biggest Canes basketball fans. So I want them to be happy. And I've been following the team now for, I mean, you know, I was very late to the party, but, you know, the last handful of regular season games, I've been dialed into this Canes team, and they are a lot of fun. The tournament is awesome. You know, it's one of the cool things. I got my older son who's watching the tournament with me, and I'm able to, like, explain to him how the tournament works. Like, I liked explaining how they give out the automatic bids, the at-large bids. The beauty of the NCAA tournament is everyone gets to compete for the NCAA tournament, for the championship. Everyone gets a chance. And you look at they were showing the gym that Purdue plays in compared to the gym that Fairleigh Dickinson plays in. And you got one that's a huge arena, looks like it fits 16,000 people. And Fairleigh Dickinson's gym looks like it probably fits 2,000 people. But the beauty of the tournament is everyone has a chance. Everyone has an opportunity to get into the tournament. So I want this to last at least a couple weekends. And now, it has. Like, the Canes are getting back to the Sweet 16. So they got a shot here. They got a shot. And the way you got to look at it, we talked about this with Shane Battier last week, where he told us how Coach K used to break down any tournament, not just the NCAA tournament, but tournaments, before the season starts, even the conference tournaments, how you break it down where, all right, you got 2 games this weekend. You win those 2 games, you advance. Then you got 2 games the next weekend. You win those 2 games, you advance. Then you get to the Final Four. You got 2 games there. You win those 2 games, you're the national champion. So the Canes, they won 2 games. They're now into the next part of the bracket. So Drake was a major struggle for the Canes. Isaiah Wong scoreless in the first half. Didn't do very much in the second half. You love that Norchad Omier got out there, but he was pretty ineffective. Nigel Pack, holy shit. I mean, you want to talk about some onions. Big balls that game from Nigel Pack. Terrific job by the Canes. And, like one of my buddies upset, oh my God, I text him after the game on Friday, that was the good shit. And he's like, nah, that was bad shit, but, I'll take it. I said, listen, it's not a beauty contest. Win and survive. It doesn't matter. And you knew Isaiah Wong was going to be much better on Sunday. And was he ever? 27 points last night. Norchad Omier, 17 rebounds. He looked like himself last night. So the Canes, they took that ass against Indiana. I mean, yes, they gave up the lead there early in the second half. There was like that 3-4 minute stretch there. You started to get a little bit concerned. But outside of that, I mean, the Canes pretty much dominated the first half. And then after they took back the lead from Indiana, they pull away those final 10 minutes. You had back-to-back threes there. It was Wong straight away, like almost from the logo. And then in the corner, I forget who it was, but 6 straight points there. All of a sudden, a 9-point lead was 15, and away we go. So the Canes, terrific job last night. Canes fan is feeling super good about now being in the back-to-back Sweet 16 for the first time in school history. And here's what you got. So here's what the Midwest region is looking like for the Canes. Canes are taking on Utah. This is Friday night. Friday night, 7:15. Canes get a crack at the number 1 seed. Yes, that's going to be a lot of fun. On the other side of the Midwest, you got Texas and Xavier. So you got almost chalk in the Midwest. You got 1 versus 5 and 2 versus 3. And the winners, of course, regional championship, a chance to get to the Final Four. In the South bracket, you got 1 versus 5 Alabama, San Diego State. 6 versus 15. Big upsets on that side of the South bracket. 6 versus 15, Creighton and Princeton. So Princeton, if it wasn't enough that they beat Arizona, they then go kick the crap out of Missouri. So Creighton and Princeton, both Creighton gets past Baylor, so they surprise as well. In the East region, you got Kansas State and Michigan State, 3 versus 7. Michigan State took out number 2 Marquette. And on the other side of it, you have number 4 versus number 9, Tennessee and Florida Atlantic University. So like I said, we had Ken Levicka, voice of the FAU Owls, on the show on Friday. I was like, hey man, tell us a little bit about this team. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know about FAU, but I'm interested in what they got going on. So the Canes, they hang on. Well, hang on. I guess they essentially come from behind against Drake on Friday night. And FAU, they're in a dogfight against a good Memphis team, of course. Penny Hardaway coaches. Memphis is usually good every year. You know, that James Wiseman, Precious Achua. Memphis is usually a really good club. And FAU hanging around. So FAU is down 1 late in the game. And I couldn't stop listening to this call all weekend. It, I guess, went viral, right? So here it is, late in the game. This is the final possession for FAU, and then what ends up being the final play of the game immediately after. You have Ken Levicka, the voice of FAU basketball.
Davis has Golden, Boyd, Greenlee, Martin at his disposal. Davis has the basketball, looks to inbound, throws right corner, Boyd, shot fake with 4 with 3, Boyd to the rim, layup, good! He laid it in with 2.
What a terrific call! So excited. I'm so happy for those FAU fans, man. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and try and pretend like I care about FAU, but I care about fun basketball that's going on around here. I mean, Boca's not very far. FAU is an awesome story. When we had Ken on the show on Friday, he's been the voice, he said, for 16 years. It's only the school's second time in the tournament. Obviously, their first ever tournament. And that right there, you hear how crazy it's going. First of all, the overmodulation, that's when it's a good call. When you got the overmodulation, that's a good call. And that it was a phenomenal call. How cool is that for him? I'll tell you, so, I've done a little play-by-play in the NBA. And the very first game that I did, so a few years ago, and it was a Heat home game against the Knicks. And the Heat are up 1, maybe up 2. What's going to be the final possession of the game? The Knicks are inbounding side out. And there was a timeout leading up to the final play. And I said to myself, I go, holy shit, it's my first ever game. I think I'm doing well. But now I got a chance in my first ever game for a game-winning final call. Whether the Knicks score to win it, which would be depressing, or the Heat get a stop to hold on. I got a final call, and final calls could be used, wherever, nationally. Who knows? You got a final call here, first game. And I think the final call went well. The Heat hung on. They got a stop. RJ Barrett missed. Bam, rebound, game over. So there you have it. And so for Ken, first ever NCAA tournament game he's doing, he's got a chance for a game-winning final call, and he nailed it. just nailed it, which is so cool. And super exciting for FAU. I was really happy for them. But here's the thing, too. Like, you're listening, like, oh, my God, he's going crazy. The kids are going crazy. They won in the first round. And it's not even, look, it's FAU's first ever win, but it's not an upset. It's a 9 beating an 8. I mean, I guess technically it's an upset, but like it's really not an upset. It's a 9 beating an 8. But it shows you the tournament, you win a tournament game for some schools, historic. Makes your whole season historic. FAU's not going to win the national championship. I mean, they're a couple games away from essentially being able to play for it, to go Final Four. But that one game right there, you saw how meaningful it is for so many of these schools and the fan base and the alumni winning one game in the tournament. How memorable it is. And that's the stuff that makes the NCAA tournament really special, is you don't have to win the whole thing. You don't even have to get to the second weekend. I mean, if FAU would have lost yesterday, yeah, they'd have been disappointed, especially because they got to play a 16 instead of the number 1 in round 2. But they're always going to have that first game. Tournament's special, man. Tournament's great. I turned to my son at one point, tournament, man, tournament. So he gets it now. My son now understands what the tournament's about. And so then yesterday, you know, Miami, of course, like we said, they really kicked the crap out of Indiana. That was awesome. And Coach L, oh my God, Coach Larinaga. Forget about the UM is a basketball school stuff. UM kind of is a basketball school now. Coach L, I remember when they hired Coach Larinaga, it wasn't exactly like I think Hurricane fans thought it was cool because he was a big name coach coming off of the run with George Mason, I think the year prior. I don't think he left right away. But I remember nationally, it was met with skepticism. It's like, yeah, Coach L, he's up there in age, you know. I don't know. Is this action? Because you'll find these young programs who are trying to establish themselves, they usually try and bank on a young coach. Look at Dusty May and FAU, right? Coming from Florida, you look at Dusty May. He's going to be their guy. I mean, they're going to have to renegotiate some stuff, very likely, or he may get attention from other programs, but you want to get your program going with a young coach. UM went and hired a much older coach in Jim Larinaga. So it was met with skepticism, I remember, nationally. And he's the Cane, like every year. I know they don't make it every year, but Canes are a tournament team. If they don't make the tournament, it's a very disappointing season now with Coach Larinaga. And for the first time ever, back-to-back Sweet 16 performances. And just a pleasure of a man. Anyone who's around him, and I've had limited interaction with him, but anyone who's around him, just a beauty of a man. Everyone has the nicest, he's so sweet. Really big guy, by the way, very tall. Everyone has the nicest things to say about Coach L. I'm really happy for the Canes. I'm happy for FAU also. And FAU yesterday, what a great game. They managed to pull away late there against Fairleigh Dickinson. They obviously catch a break with Fairleigh Dickinson knocking out Purdue. So instead of playing the 1 seed to get to the Sweet 16, you get to play the number 16 seed. Only the second time a 16 has ever won a game in the tournament. And obviously, they've never been to the Sweet 16 either. So FAU gets a major, major break there, and they take advantage of it. And now they're moving on to the next weekend to play at Madison Square Garden. Crazy. I mean, just so cool. So again, I'm really happy for what's going on with FAU right now. I'm really happy for what's going on with Miami right now. And I don't even know that I mentioned they're facing Tennessee. All right. So Miami and Houston, that's on Friday night at 7:15. FAU and Houston, Thursday night, 9 p.m. 9 p.m. on TBS. And then I didn't give you the West. So the final 4 that are in the West right now, number 2 versus number 3, it's UCLA and Gonzaga. Number 4 and number 8, UConn, and Arkansas. After Arkansas, a 1-point win against Kansas, the defending champion, minus Bill Self. The defending champion, Kansas, they are done. So you got two number one seeds remaining. Miami will face one of them, Houston. The other one, of course, Alabama. Kansas out, Purdue out. Those guys are done. Kansas is out because of Arkansas in round 2. And, of course, you got Purdue out because of Fairleigh Dickinson in the opening round. What an opening weekend for the tournament. So, again, super pumped that we get another weekend of watching the Canes in the tournament. And look, it's already real because you're in the Sweet 16. But if the Canes get past Houston, it's freaking on. It is on if the Canes get past Houston. Really, really cool stuff. You could always hit up the show at ZASLOW Show. That's me on Twitter. And I got a couple really cool messages on Twitter this weekend. So we've already welcomed today our newest sponsor on the show is Water Cleanup of Florida. Already told you guys there, they clean up your schmutz. Make sure if you got a leak, you call them, you get it taken care of. You don't want it to become a disaster. 954-900-8635, Water Cleanup of Florida. Our other new sponsor from last week that just came on board, everyone loves, everyone knows about Sheets and Giggles. Got a couple great messages on Twitter over the weekend. I told you guys, Sheets and Giggles, use my promo code, you get 20% off your first order. That's a lot of money. If you order a whole bed set, you're going to spend a little bit. Prices are great, but if you order a whole set, you're going to spend a little bit of money. So 20% off, come on. I mean, you guys, thank Colin, CEO and founder of Sheets and Giggles. Sheetsgiggles.com. Sheetsgiggles.com/ZASLOW. ZASLOW. 20% off your first order. You use promo code ZASLOW. Got a couple messages over the weekend on Twitter. ZASLOW. Use the promo code on checkout. Got out lickety split. Saved myself 20%. What a pleasure. I'm so thrilled to hear that. Had another couple messages also. Really cool stuff. I've been sleeping on Sheets and Giggles for, I think 3 or 4 nights now. Got it on my bed where we make the magic. I mean, let me tell you about that. That's a department that we don't have to get into details, but Sheets and Giggles, so soft. It helps everything in the bed. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to get all crazy here. Over 100,000 Americans are sleeping on Sheets and Giggles, and I know why now, all right? Naturally softer, cooler, more breathable, hypoallergenic if you're worried about that. Sustainably made via a lyocell process from the wood of eucalyptus trees. That's right. Up to 96% water is used, so environmentally friendly, up to 30% less energy used. And I mean, like I told you before, 0 pesticides or insecticides are used. And I love how when you're putting in the fitted sheet, they make it easy for you because the corners are extra deep, and they got a tag that tells you this is for the lower left. I love that. I hate the guessing game. You put it on, and like, oh, it's the wrong way. And then you got to switch it. No. Sheets and Giggles makes it easy for you. Sheets and Giggles, one of our newest sponsors here on ZASLOW Show 2.0. And not just sheets. Eucalyptus mattress. I got the eucalyptus pillow. You got a waterproof eucalyptus mattress protector. Sheets and Giggles. Sheetsgiggles.com. Sheetsgiggles.com/ZASLOW. Love our new sponsors. Really terrific job. So glad that Colin, CEO and founder, he's a South Florida guy. Love that he and Sheets and Giggles are on the show now. You guys have been seeing them on Levitard's show as well. And now, one of our newest sponsors here on ZASLOW Show 2.0. Love it.